You're not ready for this one because Netflix supposedly dropped Meghan Markle. And now they're saying, just kidding, we're not. Because in a shocking twist, Netflix is rolling out season 2 of With Love Meghan this fall, despite earlier rumors of cutting ties. But let's be honest, could there be a more awkward and confusing way to kick off a new season? It's like throwing a party nobody asked for, yet here we are, ready to see Meghan step onto the dance floor once again, even if nobody wants to join. Despite the headline screaming last week that Netflix was dropping Meghan and Harry faster than a hot potato, the Daily Mail reveals in a twist that Meghan is actually in negotiations for another contract. Yeah, Netflix is doubling down, even if it feels more like damage control than strategic planning at this point. All right, I want to show you the article that I'm talking about, and it's by the Daily Mail because I don't want you to think that I'm just pulling information from thin air. This is the article that I'm talking about. It's Meghan locked in negotiations for new Netflix deal. And it says the streaming giant has decided to draw up a new deal with Meghan after the Sussex's 5-year contract comes to an end in September. Reports last week claimed that Netflix were going to drop the couple, having decided that the arrangement with them has run its course. But the Mail on Sunday can reveal that the second series of With Love Meghan will be the first show to air under the new renewed agreement, and it is due for release this autumn. Last night, sources close to the streaming giant said, "Make no mistake, a deal is being worked through as we speak." While the finer details remain a closely guarded secret, it is expected that the Duchess is unlikely to secure the same financial deal she previously did when the couple first walked away from the role as senior royals. All right, and then we can go down so I can show you the other part. The source added, if you're in the top third of Netflix, you're getting another deal. It is understood that Meghan's new series was filmed at the same time as series 1 was recorded last year. She also has a collection of products called As Ever. Another source says, what happens at the end of a contract is that people renegotiate. But when you're doing any kind of commercial negotiation, both sides are not allowed to talk about it. Netflix is a listed company, so they can't say anything or confirm officially yet that a new deal is happening. But that deal is not dead. Netflix are an equity partner in As Ever, so they are unlikely to drop Meghan. So there you go, guys. This is where I'm grabbing this information from. And here's the catch, though. While Netflix is ready for round 2 with Meghan, it's clear she's not snagging another $100 million deal like she did to begin with. Remember just last week when we were wondering what would happen to As Ever since it is deeply tethered with Netflix? Well, plot twist, it looks like reality finally hit, and Netflix realized paying royal level salaries for influencer level results wasn't sustainable. But they still aren't ready to walk away from her completely. And why would they? Netflix now has the upper hand with all the data, all the viewership stats and performance metrics in hand. They're in the perfect position to show Meghan exactly how much or how little she's actually worth. This time around, there will be no fairy tale $100 million contract. Meghan might not like the new numbers on the table, but tough cookies. Whispers on both sides are gagged from talking while negotiations are ongoing, according to the Daily Mail. Of course, welcome to business of metrics over monarchy. And speaking of disappointing results, let's talk about Harry for a second. Poor Harry's Polo project only attracted about 500,000 viewers, ranking an embarrassing 3,436 on Netflix. Seriously, did they even promote this? His other projects, Heart of Invictus and Live to Lead, weren't exactly chart toppers either. So unsurprisingly, Harry isn't expected to play a major role in this new deal. Netflix probably realized they can't afford another Polo disaster. But with Meghan, Netflix still sees dollar signs, just slightly smaller ones, not as big as they anticipated the first time around. Because With Love Meghan might have been labeled bland and forgettable, yet it pulled in over 5 million views in the first half of this year. Critics be damned, right? Apparently bland and forgettable sells. But here's the twist. Even though Meghan's show didn't crack the 100, Netflix sees something else. A cash cow. They see how much free press she generates, how her as ever products make headlines and occasionally sell out, and they know there's still a market for her even if it's fueled by spectacle over substance. So while Meghan might see herself or view herself as a big fish, Netflix likely sees her more mildly profitable brand that can still continue to milk. Because let's be honest, they're not investing in groundbreaking content. They're investing in future headlines. And let's not ignore the giant PR goldmine sitting in the horizon, her possible divorce from Prince Harry. If that bomb ever drops, Netflix will want the exclusive rights to the meltdown. Honestly, that could be the real motivation behind the renegotiation of this contract, positioning themselves to capitalize on the next royal plot twist. Now, here's something that answers my question and your question, like what's going to happen with As Ever? Well, since Netflix remains an equity partner in Meghan's lifestyle brand, As Ever, so despite speculations about As Ever future, Netflix dropping Meghan completely would be like punching themselves in the face, according to the Daily Mail. And from a business and PR perspective, that's not an exaggeration. The streaming giant didn't just sign a talent deal, they positioned themselves as a stakeholder in Meghan's brand As Ever. This isn't about content anymore. This is about equity, optics, and return on investments. If Meghan's brand fails spectacularly, Netflix credibility and lifestyle branding takes a hit too. So they're essentially in damage control mode, carefully managing her presence to preserve their shared brand equity. It's a strategic hold rather than a wholeheartedly support. But financially, it's smarter for Netflix to gently milk the remaining marketable value than to pull the plug and signal failure. From a PR lens, sticking with Meghan also keeps them in the headlines, whether good or bad. Let's be honest, in this click economy, relevance often matters more than reputation. Netflix is keeping one foot in the door, not out of loyalty, but because the cost of exiting might be worse than riding the wave, at least until the next PR jackpot comes along. And knowing Meghan, well, there's going to be something. Additionally, Netflix has ambitious plans to leverage its popular shows into immersive experiences, themed restaurants, and branded merch, including products from As Ever like jam and tea. And apparently, Netflix sees Meghan as their ticket to aristocratic adjacent sales, even if the actual royal allure is fading fast. So let's address the elephant in the room. The notorious documentary of Harry and Meghan. Despite being Netflix's biggest documentary of 2022, the massive viewership seems more like morbid curiosity than genuine interest. From a PR perspective, it's a textbook case of high exposure with low conversion. Sure, the show ranked in views, millions of them, but it didn't move the needle in their favor. It didn't shift the public sentiment, inspire loyalty, or build a lasting audience. In fact, it may have done the opposite, accelerating the brand fatigue. Judging by the rapidly dwindling popularity and media traction, the public watched more to see the wreckage than to cheer them on. That kind of attention is risky, but it drives headlines, but not necessarily brand trust or buyer behavior. So yes, it was big, but not beneficial in the way a legacy building piece of content should be. So why are they trying to renew? Well, the answer is simple. They get to keep them for a lower paycheck, even though the second season will be filled with lukewarm reviews, and hope that people keep tuning in and out of sheer curiosity or boredom. And for Harry, A focus shift toward charity work might actually save what's left of his public image. At the end of the day, Netflix's move feels less like faith in Meghan's star power and more like a calculated PR business play. They got the metrics, they got the performance data, and most importantly, the leverage. Meghan may still be selling herself as a royal powerhouse, but Netflix now gets to tell her exactly what her market value is, and it's probably not going to come with a $100 million price tag this time around. In fact, Netflix has all the power. They can milk Meghan for every last drop of brand equity she has left. Content, lifestyle products, press cycles, you name it, anything. And here's something else Meghan might not love. Under her last deal, she wasn't obligated to do much press. But this time around, you can bet Netflix is going to change the terms. If they're offering less money, they're going to want more output. That likely includes a lot more public appearances, interviews, and promo obligations, which means more content for you and me. The last contract Meghan came in with, she had all the leverage. This time, the tables have turned. Netflix knows what they're buying into, and they're going to squeeze it for everything it's worth. Meghan might not be thrilled with this negotiation wrap-ups, but Netflix is making sure it's getting maximum ROI on every scripted smile. They're not betting on brilliance. They're banking on spectacle. So grab your popcorn, folks, because Netflix just turned into the house and Meghan's chips are all in, and we are all here to watch. All right, so that is all I have for you today. I would love to hear your opinion, your comments below. Let me know, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.